She literally locks the doors, forcing the entire meeting to spill out onto the sidewalk like some kind of back alley brawl.
Why you ain't stopping? Why you ain't stopping? You seen your water bill for the last 4 years? That's what you should have stopped. You should have stopped paying.
I pay 3 water bills. How many?
That ain't enough.
No mics, no format, just pure chaos, and all of it intentional. And if that weren't enough, she sends in her personal hype man, whose only mission is to shout over anyone who tries to speak. Picture it. Elected leaders standing outside trying to conduct official township business while this guy yells nonstop just to drown them out. No real dialogue. No decisions. Just noise. This isn't leadership. It's sabotage wrapped in performance. And the craziest part? None of it is accidental. It's all by design. Confuse the public, disrupt the process, and make the system look broken. So she can flip the script and play the victim when it all backfires. That's the game plan. Loud, chaotic, and calculated to wear people down until they're too exhausted to push back. Look at this man. He's not paying a water bill. He's not paying Tiffany. He's not paying anybody. And if we're being honest about bills, let's start with Tiffany's. That water bill wasn't even in her name, which is exactly why she got evicted. She won't even cover her own essentials. Meanwhile, this guy is standing front and center, glued to his phone, looking foolish, while Tiffany runs around with Kamal and the bag. And here's the real kicker. She doesn't just run off with Kamal. She hands him a bag, then disappears with him. That's what she calls loyalty. She lands him a $100,000 job. No problem. And you? She throws you out as a temp, barking at senior citizens in lawn chairs. That's not power. That's clown work. And the saddest part? He doesn't even realize how bad it looks. Let's rewind this entire saga. Tiffany Henyard, the so-called super mayor, a title no one gave her. She made that up herself. First, she took over Dalton as mayor. Then, she slid into the Thornton Township supervisor seat. 2 powerful roles, one inflated ego. That's how she spun her own nickname into some kind of political superhero act. But let's not act like this was some grand plan written in the stars. It wasn't fate. It was backroom math. Messy, shady math. To this day, no one really understands how her name even entered the equation. Out of nowhere, Christopher Gonzalez drops her name like she's the answer to everyone's problems. Why? Who whispered her name? Who orchestrated that? We still don't know. But what we do know is that, from that moment forward, she had this one man stuck to her side like a shadow. And that's the real question. Who is he? If he's not family, and he's not her man, then what's the relationship? Because the way they move together? That body language? It speaks volumes. And people noticed. If he did have a girlfriend or wife at the time, phew, that would have been a whole different headline. But let's stay focused because this man's role is key. His behavior inside those township meetings helped set the tone for everything that followed. And what followed? Tiffany literally shutting down Village Hall. She locked the doors and pushed the entire board out onto the lawn. That's when things truly spiraled. Trustees were forced to drag out folding chairs and hold official government meetings in the front yard, like it was some makeshift cookout. No microphones, no structure, just straight-up chaos under open skies. And right there, acting like her personal enforcer, that same man. Tiffany didn't just form a leadership team. She assembled a mob, a group that didn't govern, they intimidated.
That's,
Yeah.
49.
So what was the vote?
That's it. 49. I nominate Tiffany Henyard, Thornton Township Supervisor.
That was the play. That's how she held on to control. Not through order or policy, but through disruption and fear. Y'all caught that, right? Christopher Gonzalez. Let's hit pause on him for a second. Because out of all the chaos, all the fallout, all the political bodies that dropped off the board, he's the one still standing. The last man left in Thornton Township after Tiffany's entire saga blew through like a hurricane. And here's the twist. He's the same guy who spoke her name into the...
Trustee Jones?
Yes. Wow.
Trustee Gonzalez,
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett,
Yes.
Trustee
Second that motion.
She has to sign the warrant, and then she's got to take the oath in 9 minutes. Let's go.
That's right.
Mix in the first place. Out of nowhere, right in the middle of everything, he just drops the name Tiffany like it was nothing, like it was fate. But was it really fate? Or was that the spark that set this whole disaster in motion? Because that moment, that one random name drop, is where the snowball started rolling downhill. Coincidence? Maybe. But convenient? Absolutely. That slip of the tongue changed the entire direction of township politics. And now, with everything in shambles and the dust barely settling, Gonzalez is still planted on that board like none of it ever happened, while everyone else is stuck cleaning up the wreckage he helped unleash. That's right. Go ahead, give him a high five. The same man who casually dropped her name like it was divine inspiration. And to this day, I still want to know, why, Chris Gonzalez? What made you suddenly throw Tiffany's name into the mix like it was some golden ticket? Out of everyone, all the qualified people, all the potential options, you landed on her? Really? Think about it. You got the mayor of Dalton, already knee-deep in her own mess, and with 10 minutes left on the clock, you just blurt out Tiffany. No prep, no planning, no warning. Just boom. Tiffany. And like magic, everyone falls in line. No debate, no objections. Just a room full of nods and, okay. And we're supposed to buy that? That it was some random organic decision? Please, that's not how real power moves. That's not how politics operates. But sure, if that's the story they want to sell, I guess we're all just supposed to smile, nod, and pretend we don't see the setup. Now look at this man, standing up like the ultimate hype man. Put your hands together for your new Thornton Township supervisor, Tiffany Henyard. He brought the energy of a concert opener, but for politics. And Tiffany, clinging to him like he was the only thing keeping her upright. If that wasn't her man, then it was something close, because the body language said more than the words ever could. Fast forward, and Tiffany's all in her feelings. She locks everyone out of Village Hall. Literally. Trustees can't even do their jobs inside the building anymore. They're outside, forced to sit in lawn chairs like it's a backyard barbecue. And just when you think it can't get any more absurd, here comes that same guy again, not stepping in to help, not leading, just yelling, screaming, and disrupting. That was his whole role, disruption on demand. And you could tell Tiffany was feeding him lines the entire time. She's on the phone somewhere, directing the chaos, while he blurts out nonsense, interrupts residents, throws tantrums, and shuts down progress. Nobody's talking to him, but he keeps cutting in, because the goal was clear. Block order, block movement, and make sure nothing happens unless Tiffany's calling the shots. And the wildest part? She never even showed up. Meanwhile, he's out there mouth-breathing, posturing, doing the most to stay relevant. While Tiffany, she's already moved on. Because once Kamal fully entered the picture, with the money, the title, and all the Butang benefits, this guy got tossed to the side. She clung to him once, but as soon as Kamal stepped in with more shine, more presence, and more pull, this man's usefulness expired. Just like that, he was gone. And the disrespect? Unmatched. Kamal gets a $100,000 position, while this guy gets a gig yelling at old folks in lawn chairs. That's what loyalty gets you under Tiffany's watch. She never wanted actual solutions. She wanted soldiers, people to disrupt, distract, and defend her at all costs. And when residents showed up asking real questions about flooding, infrastructure, and basic services, he kept screaming, because his job wasn't to provide answers. It was to create chaos. That's the truth about Tiffany's supermayor era. It wasn't about community. It wasn't about progress. It was about control. And anyone who got in the way, she sent her goons to scream them into silence. That's not leadership. That's tyranny in a wig and a lawn chair. And Christopher Gonzalez? He's not off the hook either. Bad guy. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But we're not stopping there, because we still got this other man, the one in the background, yelling like he's auditioning for Tiffany's fan club. And let's be real. He looks like a guy who got dumped the moment Kamal showed up. That's exactly what it feels like. Tiffany dropped him like a bad habit once Kamal walked in with more clout. Let's rewind it. This man spent months, maybe even years, being Tiffany's loudest hype man, screaming at every meeting, barking on cue, doing everything in his power to boost her image and make sure her name had weight. And then Kamal shows up, scoops the spotlight, scoops Tiffany, and this dude, poof, vanished. After all that chaos, Kamal kicked him straight to the sidelines like he was never even part of the playbook. And here's what makes it worse. This man is still out here ranting about Riley Rogers. Like Riley is even in the picture. Riley's not the mayor. Riley's not running for anything. Riley's yesterday's headline. Meanwhile, Tiffany is the mayor now. She's the one in power. So if crime is spiking, if homes are flooding, if streets are falling apart, that's on Tiffany. But this guy, he's stuck in the past, shouting about ghosts while the real problems stack up around him. And we can't pretend this was all accidental. He didn't just show up randomly. Somebody called him in, and we already know who. It was Tiffany. That's why he was so pressed, so loud, so disrespectful. He was sent to disrupt, plain and simple. And when trustees tried to wrap up the meeting, when the motion hit the floor, he kept hollering about bills that weren't even his. Let's be honest. Tiffany's water bill wasn't even in her name. That's why she got evicted. So how are you out here screaming about water bills while defending someone who couldn't even pay her own? But here's the part that is the hardest. Tiffany gave Kamal the bag. She gave him the job, the check, the security, a six-figure position just handed to him. And what did you get? A side hustle screaming at community members like that was your full-time gig. That was your big reward. Being a mouthpiece for someone who replaced you without blinking. If that's not the definition of disrespect, I don't know what is. And now, look at you. No job, no position, no Tiffany, no shine. You're out here sounding bitter, looking exhausted, giving full-on grumpy old troll under the bridge. Dry in the face, crusty in the attitude. Tiffany shut the door. Kamal won't throw you a bone. He took your girl, your shot, and your bag. And you're left with a mic and a tantrum. So if you're still mad, cool, be mad, but stop yelling at trustees. Stop dragging Riley's name. Stop screaming into the void. If you're looking for who really took everything from you, point that anger at Kamal, because he's the one who walked in and claimed it all. The woman you defended, the position you fought for, the money you thought was coming. He took everything and left you with nothing but public embarrassment. That's why this whole thing, it's a tragic comedy. It's sad, but it's also hilarious. You were the loudest, the most loyal. You went the hardest. And in the end, Tiffany played you like a pawn. Kamal replaced you like it was nothing. And the bag? Gone. All the perks? Gone. You got zero. And now you're out here chasing ghosts, barking at the wrong people, still stuck in a storyline that left you in the dirt. That's not power. That's not strategy. That's just a public lesson in loyalty gone wrong.